Every old house has a story, they say. This one, you can tell, is no exception. But it's not just the one you read in history books or the tales whispered by curious neighbors. No, I'm talking about the stories that are etched into the very timbers of the house, woven into the dust motes dancing in the sunbeam, held captive within the silence of its walls. Stories that wait patiently for someone to listen. Today, we're not just looking at a house. We're stepping into a puzzle. A quiet mystery from a time gone by. It's a secret that lay hidden for decades, perhaps even centuries, in plain sight. The house is telling us a story. Are we listening? What do you see? Do you feel it too? That sense of something just out of reach, like a whisper on the wind. What if the house itself is trying to tell us something, trying to share a piece of its soul? What if this place, with its creaking floorboards and faded wallpaper, could teach us about the lives lived here long ago? What secrets did these four walls hold? What stories do they have to tell? And most importantly, why do they matter to us now? Our story begins, as many often do, with a new beginning. Meet Liam and Sarah, a young couple who were eager to escape the city. They were searching for peace, for quiet, for a place where they could start their life together. And they found it in a small, unassuming town nestled amidst ancient oaks and forgotten lanes. The house was built in the late 1800s and had stood vacant for years. Its listing simply read, "Historic charm needs TLC." To Liam and Sarah, it was more than just a fixer-upper. It was a canvas for their dreams. They saw past the peeling wallpaper and the creaking floorboards, envisioning laughter, warmth, and a lifetime of memories. But little did they know that the house held a secret that would challenge their perception of time, memory, and perhaps even reality itself. What is this place? Can't believe we're actually moving in here. Are you sure about this? This place gives me the creeps. Don't be silly. It's just an old house. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing at all. Weeks turned into months. They worked tirelessly, stripping away layers of neglect, revealing the house's true bones. And then, one rainy afternoon, while meticulously removing the brittle wallpaper in what they believed was a forgotten study, Liam noticed something peculiar. "Sarah," he called out, his voice tinged with curiosity. "Come look at this." He ran his hand along a section of the wall near the fireplace. It felt different. A hollow echo where there should have been solid plaster. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, a slight deviation in the otherwise uniform surface. They peered closer. Beneath decades of paint and paper, a faint, almost invisible seam began to emerge. Not a crack, but an outline. An outline that suggested a door. It wasn't a grand entrance. No ornate carvings, no imposing archway. Just a simple, almost camouflaged wooden panel, blending seamlessly into the wall. No handle, no lock visible. For a moment, they simply stared, a mix of excitement and trepidation in their eyes. This wasn't in any blueprint they'd seen. This wasn't just old charm. It was a deliberate concealment. Why would someone hide a door? And what was on the other side? They found it eventually, a tiny, almost fused-over latch, rusty with disuse. With a gentle pull, a soft click echoed in the silent room. The door, surprisingly, opened inward with a groan that seemed to carry the weight of decades of slumber. What waited beyond that threshold wasn't a secret passage or a grand hidden chamber. It was something far more profound. A small, humble room, perfectly preserved as if time itself had forgotten to touch it. The air was still, heavy with the scent of forgotten memories, and a fine layer of dust lay undisturbed on every surface. It was a time capsule. Not of grand treasures, but of intimate, personal belongings. A small wooden rocking horse, worn smooth by countless hours of play. A child's worn shoe, delicately placed beside a faded, tattered doll. A simple, leather-bound diary, its pages brittle with age, resting on a small, unmade cot. And on a small, rickety table, a single flickering candle seemingly extinguished just moments ago. Next to a half-finished embroidery. Liam and Sarah entered cautiously, their voices hushed, almost reverent. This wasn't just a room, it was a life. A life that had paused, abruptly, and been sealed away. Whose life, and why? It was an unassuming diary, bound in leather and smelling faintly of lavender. Yet when Liam and Sarah discovered it, tucked away in the eaves of their new home, they had no idea the key it held. Its delicate pages, filled with elegant, looping script, belonged to a young woman named Alara, and as they turned the brittle pages, he realized they were reading the story of the house itself. The diary entries were dated from the late 1890s and painted a vivid picture of life in that very house, but from the perspective of its previous owner. The entries were poetic and precise, detailing the changing seasons. The blooming garden, the ripening fruit, all observed from within the four walls of the house. But amidst these peaceful musings, there was a recurring theme. The sense of a life half-lived, of joys experienced, yet a profound sorrow that lingered just beneath the surface. She wrote often of a little one, a child named Lily, whose laughter echoed through the halls, whose presence brought sunshine into every corner. Yet as they read on, the entries became more somber. The little one was mentioned less frequently, and when she was, there was a note of worry in Alara's script. The entries spoke of a cough that wouldn't go away, of nights spent by the child's bedside, of prayers whispered for a swift recovery. Then something happened. The entries abruptly shifted. The elegant scripts became more frantic, the sentences shorter, the ink blotchier. There was a chilling shift in tone, a growing sense of fear and isolation. Alara spoke of a great sickness sweeping through the town, taking loved ones and leaving hearts heavy with grief. Then one day, Lily wasn't mentioned at all. The diary spoke of Alara's own fevered state, of chills that racked her body and a cough that mirrored Lily's. And then, as suddenly as Lily's laughter faded from the entries, so did Alara's. There was a final entry, dated just a few days later. It was unlike any of the others. It began, "The doctor says there is no hope. He is kind, but he cannot deny the truth. I am wasting away, but Lily must not know this. She is my sunshine, and so, while I have strength, I will hide the darkness." The words were shaky, mirroring the tremors of her hand. "I have closed the door. Until we meet again, my sweet Lily. You are safe here." The diary ended there. No grand revelation, no finality, just a mother's last desperate act of love. A mother's last desperate act of love, sealing away her child's most cherished possessions, protecting them from whatever darkness lay ahead. Over the next few weeks, Liam and Sarah delved deeper into the house's history, hoping to find a resolution to the story that unfolded within those pages. They checked old town records, death certificates, local histories, anything that might shed light on the existence of an Alara or a Lily, but there was no record of either of them dying in that house during that period, or ever, it seemed, having lived there at all. It was as if they had stepped out of a dream, leaving behind a whisper of a story and nothing more. There was no grand revelation, no finality, just a mother's last desperate act of love, sealing away her child's most cherished possessions, protecting them from whatever darkness lay ahead. Over the next few weeks, Liam and Sarah delved deeper into the house's history, hoping to find a resolution to the story that unfolded within those pages. They checked old town records, death certificates, local histories, anything that might shed light on the existence of an Alara or a Lily. But there was no record of either of them dying in that house during that period, or ever, it seemed, having lived there at all. It was as if they had stepped out of a dream, leaving behind a whisper of a story and nothing more. Did Alara survive the great sickness and simply abandon the house, too heartbroken to return? Or did she, and perhaps Lily, succumb? And this room was sealed by someone else, honoring her last wish. The truth remains elusive, a silent testament to a love that defied time and a grief that sought refuge in secrecy. The room remains untouched. Liam and Sarah felt it would be wrong to disturb it, to break the solemn peace of what felt like a sacred space. They simply closed the hidden door, allowing the memories to slumber once more. But now they live in a house that breathes with an additional layer of history, a quiet echo of lives lived, loved, and perhaps profoundly lost. And as you look at your own surroundings, at the familiar walls that enclose your days, ask yourself, what stories do they hold? What whispers of the past linger in the corners, waiting to be discovered? Because sometimes, just beyond our sight, there are secrets hidden in plain view, just waiting for us to uncover them.